Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Mad Max. As always, we're going to jump directly in. Every episode, I think to myself, oh, this will be the one where we get back into the main story, and the sense that I've started to feel about Mad Max is it's one of those open world games where the story is nearly entirely in the journey from one place to another. Now, I do believe that this mountain range here indicates a stronghold that we can visit. And there's probably a place up here that I can go to as well. If I go up here, though... Yeah, so here's part of it. There's a minefield up here. But if I get into the Dinky D-Mobile to go do that, then I'm not well equipped for any of the other things that are liable to come up. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's go up here, and then what we're going to do is clear that out and then sort of work our way up here. And I want to go do that Finger Peak Legion thing as well, and we'll dive into this area. As we go, we're recording this on a Sunday. I might adjust the volume here, and as always, the volume in Mad Max, as much as any game that we've ever played, it's been a little bit difficult to balance. Yeah, we're recording this on a Sunday. It's a Sunday after multiple days of 90 to 100 degree weather. So it's been a big relief to get some relief from that.
Yes, I'm a protector, Saint.
Hold on, let me just give these people this.
Inside and out.
Yes. Water.
You might find something useful there.
So I've got 7 Griffa tokens. Do you think I should go... It always feels like you should go do the Griffa material first. Or go... Because then you get the benefit of hanging out with Griffa. But I don't want to go over there right now. I want to go over here. So we're just going to have to let those 7 Griffa tokens... I don't know, accrue interest or whatever they do. So, hello to Caroluna. Caroluna, I hope that you are having a great Sunday so far. Oh, no, he's got a... okay. He's got an exposed gas can, as does the other guy, I think. Okay, I think we got both of them. Took some damage, but I'm okay with it. And hello to Jab, who says good morning to all. Yeah, I hope both of you are having a great day. Caroluna, I hope that you... I hope you continue to enjoy Space Engineers, because although I haven't had much of an opportunity to chat in them, I very much enjoyed watching you engage with that game. It's one of those things where I feel like it would be a lot of fun to see you and Samalander and some others all play co-op. And you can play, you know, single player as well. But Space Engineers feels like it's got so much room for collaboration. Also, what I'd love to do is, because you've been, as far as I know, venturing into some of the areas where when I played it in my own survival campaign, there were like these drones that were coming around. And I did hear you say in your playthrough, well, as long as you don't go too close, they'll leave you alone. But at least in the mode that I was playing, which was the like crash landed pod on the planet start, that was... Oh, hold on. Let me just do this. The drones would come right up to you and start, like, sawing your vehicle apart. And that was the point at which I was like, okay, this is the part of the game where clearly what I'm... Wait, what? Oh, I pressed A to boost. But it was, sort of a backwards thing. All right, so hold on, everybody. Just relax. Let's get out my sniper rifle, and I'm gonna... Okay. There we go. Anybody else to shoot up there? I see so far. Yeah, so around the time in my game, once I got into space and sort of got a certain distance out and away from the planet that I started, there are just drones that appear to sort of spawn in the nearby area of space engineers, and individually they're not difficult to deal with, but clearly you are intended to have some defenses, and I was just never well positioned to get those defenses up and running. Like, it's just a system that I didn't feel like working out. Jab got out of bed less than 10 minutes ago, so it's too early to tell if it's a good Sunday or not. Caroluna's been experimenting a bit with the economy now, too. That's going to be interesting. Which start is not what decides those. You can disable them altogether if you like. So, the reason I didn't disable them is... Hold on, let me get out and get some repairs here, because I'm 2/3 down. We can finish that thought while Chumbucket does the repairs. The reason I didn't disable them altogether is because I was concerned that without any threat or danger in the world, I would get bored. And, you know, like, there has to be, for me, some challenge to overcome. And when you're starting on that survival one, the challenge at first is, okay, I've got some oxygen and, what's the other thing that you get in there? Water? There's like two, oh, energy, just energy to recharge on, and sort of working your way up from that. But once those early problems are solved, which admittedly is a big challenge when you're first learning the game, but once those issues are resolved, what's going to be the next challenge? So I don't mind having the drones on, it's just I am open to information on how to deal with the drones as they come up. And I think that the answer is set up some turrets, set up some cargo containers with ammo connected by conveyors that they'll be able to draw from, and they'll probably take it out for you. And it was just a system like, I'll get to it. I'll come back for it. Oh, is it hydrogen? Is that the other thing that you need at the start? Yeah, someday I will boot up that, hold on. That Space Engineers game and show it off. And Caroluna, like, when I say that I have a very, very ugly base, you are honestly unprepared. It's just a pile of junk. Wait, intel available in logbook? Where's logbook? Autosave settings, story missions, wasteland missions, encounters, tutorial statistics, and capture mode. Is it under locations? Is this... Okay, because I have literally no idea where I am. I mean, I can probably check the map, but... Like, is this even marked in the map? Top Dog Camp Large Blade. Hold on a second, let's see if that's in here. Top Dog Camp Large Blade. Because apparently I scoped this place out at some point. These look like all regions. No. No, okay, so we've got some stations and caves here. The Jaw, the Big Nothing, the Statue, and the Blades. Okay, so I don't see it here. Oh, I can do some more upgrades. Full Metal Guard. Yeah, man, I've got nothing else to do with that 250 scrap for right now. And then, I'm pretty happy with my current head, but... Medium goggle, let me preview. No. Okay, and for this one, I need to have Legend Rank Road Warrior. Oh, and by the... Oh, wait, look at that. Hold on a second. I don't know how else to bring up this gear. Look at the Legend Rank. We're almost up there. We're wrapping up Blessed Wanderer, and we're on to Road Warrior next. Carolina says hydrogen powers the suit flight and any hydrogen-powered ships. The player tools are electrically powered. Yeah, there's certain, like, tiers of progress that you make in Space Engineers, and the first one is don't die of like oxygen deprivation. And then the next one is, okay, or at least the way that I started is, okay, so next up I need to start learning how to get some materials. And it wasn't clear to me at first that like just refining dirt gets you some materials. Like I didn't understand that, so it's like, oops. Okay, I'm gonna have to take out this asshole because he's gonna keep doing that. Okay, I'm just noting that time I super pressed Y. Punish, punish. Okay. So that time I did a heavy strike, so that's why it didn't work out. Can I get the other one too? Oh, I ran out of time. Oh, no, do it! Do it! Yeah! And Carolyn is saying oxygen may not be an issue at all if you start on a planet with oxygen, which is where I started. So I don't remember the names of it, but the start that I chose was I am in an escape pod being shot down to an Earth-like planet that is otherwise uninhabited. So it starts you with nothing, but with access to everything that you're going to need. Like you're not in any imminent danger of suffocation or anything like that. But you do need to get yourself started because you are going to run out of what's available to you pretty quickly. Not super quickly, but, you know. And so I found it a really fun way to learn the game. And over time, I was able to get a vehicle built that steered and went where I wanted, like basically a land-based vehicle. And then I was able to start refining better parts and get up to electrically powered atmospheric thrusters so I could fly around and learn how to fly without crashing. And yeah, that definitely took some time. Not gonna lie. And then it was figuring out space flight. And the first couple attempts straight up failed. Like ran out of fuel, went up part way, and then like something like I didn't realize that the thrusters were doing damage to a part of the ship. So that was I had to get used to that. And then eventually did make it up to space. And when I made it up to space, it was like, okay, now I don't really know what to do. So I turned around and left. So then from there it was figuring out how to go around efficiently once you were in space and figure out those flight controls and build some hydrogen thrusters so that you could do that element of it. Yeah, they left you unguarded, friend. They were not too worried about your well-being. I just feel like that really should be a brutality. Like, if you're in a fist fight with somebody and they end one of your friends like that, to the extent that these guys have friends, they just, like, pick him up and pile drive them. I don't think that's actually a pile driver, but whatever you would call that, that seems like a, oh shit, I may be out of my depth. Maybe I'm just a coward. Hello to Grumpy. Grumpy says, Angel... reveling in mindless violence is a good way to start the day. Oh, and Goofy is going to get so much better because pretty soon we're going to have Mia reveling in mindless violence. Kirlin is saying, supposedly vehicles can be very difficult depending on the terrain. I've barely ever used wheel-based vehicles myself. So one of the one of the more adventurous designs that I put together that, again, I might show off someday it was a vehicle that came out much larger than I had expected it to, because I used the highest size wheels, but it was basically a mobile drilling platform with when I first set up my base, so I crash landed in Space Engineers in the Arctic. Like, I was basically just... Oh, is it completely full? Interesting. I thought I did a lot of shiv takedowns. So I started up in an area that was all ice, and I had to dig beneath the ice to even find the dirt to start refining into the basic materials that I would need, which is why I got off to a slow start. I didn't know how that worked. But because I had access to so much ice, like, one of my goals, I set up some wind generators. Solar power wasn't very viable because it would get dark for long periods of time. So I did a lot of... Hold on. I can't read that. Honey, the whole damn grid's down. I'm sending you this letter, hoping that shit still works. This is what went down outside our door last night. Some kids torched a police car. People started shooting, throwing rocks, etc. I want you to stay in the cabin, and I'll come up Sunday. It's not safe here.
Safety is such a relative term. Does it even exist now? Yeah, I'm not sure.
And hello to Lucha Freddy. Lucha Freddy, also hope that you're having a great Sunday. So we were just sharing some thoughts, and yes, I did see the relic on my way in, which is going to be helpful, because I'm going to shoot... We were just talking a little bit about Space Engineers, and I was sharing that... So when I first set up a base, what I did was I set up like a big drilling arm. And this is what makes Space Engineers so cool. There's nothing that tells you to do this. But I was looking at the materials that I'd unlocked and said, okay, so I need a more efficient way to get ice. And then the ice is going to be like, I don't know, melted or processed in this... engine, like a generator thing, into oxygen and then hydrogen, and then the hydrogen can be put into this big tank that I've unlocked, and that's going to power the hydrogen generator. So I'm going to start moving away from wind-based power and into hydrogen-based power. And also, by the way, have a big hydrogen tank so that I can start getting into hydrogen-based engines for my spacecraft. So, like, everything sort of like links together, and one discovery unlocks multiple new possibilities. It's one of the things that makes Space Engineers super neat. So I built a big drilling arm, and rather than drilling for ice by hand, I like this big giant thing with like some pistons so it could rotate and extend, and use that to carve out this giant pit next to my base, where I got all of the ice that was close enough to that arm, and it all drew it directly into the base and directly into the generator, so I had enough to go for a good long time. From there, though, I didn't want to recreate that whole like drilling arm, so what I said is like, so what I need now is to make that... Okay, I think I got out of that animation. Okay. That was narrow, but we got it done. So what I did, Caroluna, is I built this gigantic, and hello to Azaric, this huge platform with this gigantic arm that would come up and through some pistons extend like 30, 40, 50 meters into the earth, way below what the actual ice was, and use that to start trundling around and do it. And it took some testing to get it to work properly, because at first the drilling arm was so big and heavy that it would cause the whole thing to shake violently, and it didn't work properly. So I had to figure out a way beyond that. And then once that was done, then I found that the arm was actually long enough that it could start mining for cobalt, which is further beneath the surface than I'd found otherwise. So it's just interesting that Space Engineers presents to you a world where you can do anything, but much like Factorio, I don't know you can do anything, but the point is, there's so much that you can do by hand, but it takes a while. So then you start looking at, okay, how do I... So I do see that, right? I see that insignia. If I go down there, though, that feels like a one-way trip. Is there anything that I want to get up here before I go down there? And the answer feels a lot like No. And I want to go get that insignia before I wander away from this area and forget where it is. Oh, nuts. What I'm doing here is just looking at the terrain, because I could also shoot that with a sniper bullet, I'm sure. Oh, but there's some scrap down there as well. Okay, so I gotta remember where that is. I'm going to forget, but I feel like I can always go down more easily than find my way back up. Yes, hello to Azaric. Carolyn is saying... So, let me just read back. Carolyn is saying, I've seen drilling arms but not tried them yet, and I'd prefer drilling ships. So here's the issue with drilling ships. A big wheeled vehicle... Oh, hold on.
You don't come here. Not here. This is my place. You're just a raggedy man. You're just dead meat. I can barely wait to sink my head.
The nice thing about wheeled vehicles is they can carry a lot of weight. Like, a lot of weight relative to what a flying vehicle can, at least within a gravity well. Once you get up into space, you know, mass is still a thing for sure, but the amount of fuel, like atmospheric thruster battery power it takes, becomes less of a concern because you're dealing with hydrogen thrusters that are much more efficient in space. Hydrogen thrusters are pretty bad. I mean, they might have reworked this at some point, but hydrogen thrusters are not great in a planetary atmosphere. They consume a massive amount of hydrogen fuel just to stay upright. Like, you hover in a hydrogen ship, and it's like, okay, I've just used a third of my fuel per minute. Probably a different way that I'm supposed to be doing this. How was that an unblockable? Just a backhanded fist? That got him an unbreakable? Oh, I should really use some of these. Hold on. Alright. Now we're on slightly less uneven terms. Oh, that's why. He drops his melee weapon when he shiv punishers. Okay, allies are here. So I still have one insignia, which I know where it is, and one scrap, which I also know where it is. I mean, I need to remember how to get down from here, and hopefully these flame jets will chill out, and if they don't... Ah, it's just an off valve. So Carolyn is saying the thing about hydrogen thrusters and space engineers is that they work in both planetary atmospheres and in space. Yeah, so at least for small craft, which is most... Like, I didn't go into any large grid stuff. That's absolutely false. The big drilling platform I just described was a large grid craft in there. But the thing about small grid craft is, like, I would put in a hydrogen tank on there, and I would put a couple hydrogen thrusters, and I would get out of the craft. Like just hovering would completely deplete that. Now again, they may have rebalanced that. You're playing it long after what I played. I did unlock his paint job or whatever. There was nothing else that I needed to claim up there. Because when I came here, it was like, oh, unlock his paint job. Carolyn is saying craft size is irrelevant. Craft size is relevant in terms of, like, how much hydrogen gas you can store to power those thrusters. Like at least what I found, and maybe I was doing it wrong, but what I found was the most efficient way to do it was to focus on atmospheric thrusters for, hold on, let me drop this. The craft that I built, and like, the thing with space engineers is I am 100% open to more information on how to do things more efficiently. But when I tried hydrogen-powered craft in atmosphere, they worked real well up until I ran out of fuel that was like 3 minutes. So instead what I would start to do is I would have a craft that would have, like at least my spacefaring craft would use batteries and atmospheric thrusters until the and I would go like aiming up into space until the atmospheric thrusters would basically reach the upper limits of what the atmospheric density would allow them to actually thrust at. And as they started to peter out, that's when I would switch over to hydrogen fuel. Or the hydrogen thrusters. And hydrogen thrusters were fantastic for making that transition from the planetary atmosphere, the planetary gravity well, up to outer space. And then for making relatively, like comparatively short and efficient pushes from one direction to another. Because in space, you don't need to maintain thrust in any given direction. You only need to get started in that direction. And then you can accelerate or decelerate. Now, Carolina, you probably know this, so I'm going to like say something that I bet that you've already figured out. But when you're in space, like you can disable your retro thrusters, like just turn them off. So once you start heading in a direction, your craft will continue to coast in that direction, and you don't have to maintain thrust to keep going there. That was another thing that's like, oh, this is so much more efficient than what I thought. Carolyn is saying, oh yeah, but atmospheric thrusters only work in an atmosphere. Ion thrusters only in space. Hydrogen works in both. But may use a lot of fuel. I haven't tried that yet myself. That's actually the best way to do it according to some YouTube movies I've seen. Oh, and yeah, so I should, like, on that point, Carolina, most of what I've seen, Carolina and anybody listening to this just sort of, like, talk aloud about space engineers is effectively every single thing I just said came from watching videos by a YouTuber named Splitsy. And I believe that's SPLITSIE. He, as far as I'm concerned, wrote my book on how to even get started in space engineers. He has a fantastic tutorial series about the very start that I did, about what parts were safe to break down off of the pod. Wait, was there? I honestly, yes, there is scrap here. Guys, I'm not going to stop for predictions, but what do we think? 1 scrap? 3 scrap? I bet this is 1 scrap that I just got out for. Oh, 4 scrap plus 2. We got all the way up to 6, which was twice as much as I had predicted with my 3 scrap. Yeah, Carolina's been watching him too. Yeah, Splitsy is great. Splitsy is so great that when... Oh, that's right. I couldn't find this place. Fuck it. I don't care about that. Let's go to Griffa. In a minute.
He's carrying some tin-truck time bomb on the back there.
Yeah, when, after I built the giant mining rig, and it's, Carolina, it's so oversized. Ooh, it's ridiculous. But after I built that, I actually tweeted at Splitsy. I actually tweeted like, hey, here's the video that I watched to even get me started in this game. Because when I started in Space Engineers, I was like, I cannot figure this out. It's too complicated. I'm not, like, it's just, it felt a lot like I feel about Factorio right now, where it's just like, oh, I'm just not smart enough to grok this. But then I watched Splitsy's videos, and that sort of got me on track, so I got started. And once you have that foundation of knowledge, then the rest of it starts to come around. So I actually tweeted at him and said, or I included him in the tweet where I was like, hey, Space Engineers is a super great game, and it took me a while to discover that, and big props to Splitsy for that, and here's the tutorial series that I followed. And he was actually like he wrote back, or he tweeted back, or in response like, thanks. So that felt pretty cool. Yeah, so he seems like a pretty nice guy on top of everything else. All right. And then I gotta say, I don't actually care about destroying these guys, because it's not really worth that much scrap. But I bet 1 good ram Okay. I bet 2 good rams. Yeah, see, that was, what, 11 scrap? That's honestly how long it takes me to add 7 and 4, by the way. Not worth it. Like, it's not worth going back to blow that other one up. He also did, like, a very cool... Oh, I'm 100% going the wrong way. Am I? Oh, no, he moved. Yeah, he moved up here. But I don't want to go up there. Yeah, we're going to turn around, and I'm going to go to where I was marked before, and hopefully he will have shown up there. Anyway, that was a lot to say. If you guys are not currently watching Caroluna, if anything that I just said sounds remotely interesting, if you have ever been interested in like a vision of Minecraft with a much higher focus on industry and custom vehicle designs and figuring out how to use some pretty sophisticated tools to achieve some very neat automation, check out Space Engineers, and right now you can check that out specifically at twitch.tv/Caroluna. Yep, okay, I just wanted to make sure he hadn't moved to a different location. And that's CARALLUNA. Make sure you get the double L's in there. Very, very fun, very relaxed, chill streamer, and I have been having a great time revisiting the world of Space Engineers through his stream. Okay, I may be able to ram through this. I may be able to knock it down with boomsticks, and it requires a level 4 thing. So will this work? I don't know. It knocked something down. That feels like a victory. Try to get in there, because this thing does have a life bar. Oh. Okay. I just needed to do it one more time. Oh, and also to touch on something that Jab had asked about yesterday. We talked about this briefly during our most recent Aegis Rim stream, but I did want to, like, clarify. Oh, are there like 1 million guys coming? Oh no, it's a convoy. So, yesterday, Jab asked about Tashir Games. Hey, has anybody heard from Tashir Games recently? And I highly recommend following his Twitter, which it used to be D-energetic, which I remembered very easily. And now, every single time, I cannot remember if it is Tashir Games or Tashir Rizé or... I always just forget what the Twitter handle is, but I can say that if you do a Twitter search for Tashir Rizé, Tasherre, and then Risay, can you? I see him highlighting, but I can't. Okay. Oh boy. But to share what he has shared himself on Patikin's stream, he is on the mend. He's doing better. He's had some follow-up doctor's visits, and is continuing to rest, which I think is the most important thing. And it really falls in the category of I want to express enthusiasm for when he returns, but not pressure that he needs to return before he feels ready. Oh, I just got some sort of achievement. Road Warrior. It probably refers to having... Hey, do you guys want to have a big fist fight? Because we could do that. Hold on, let me try to... inspire these guys to get out of their vehicles. No! No! Oh, no! I went off the... So the car's on fire, but I'm not in danger from it yet. I need to pick up the hood ornament, and I don't want to, like, have it despawn or anything.
Now! He's exposed! Now, the rubber!
Okay, stop it. Get out. Yeah! Oh, no, I have to reload. Okay, I think he's too armored for me to shoot him from... Oh, yeah, guys, get out. Come on. Oh, whoops. That was 100% the wrong button. That was me hitting A for some reason. That's why he just stood there and dropped his weapon like a yutz. Luciferity's saying maps equal Angel's Kryptonite. You know, what was... before I returned it to Sheer, an interesting thing that came out of the old Jumping the Shark podcast was when Danielle Riendo shared that playing The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, I think it was, taught her how to read a map, which I never thought about it that way, but I guarantee you that whatever map reading skills I have probably been born out of years of playing games like A Link to the Past, where, I actually kind of like this one. Let's install that one on the front. And it's something that I'd never thought of before, but when she brought that up, it's like, that's where she picked up that skill. It's like, holy shit, that's probably where I picked up that skill. All right, so we got the convoy, and let's do the loot encounter, and probably the balloon.
He's got us in his sights!
So I just wanted to share, if you were not a fan of Tashir, you have not yet watched him, so you really, really should. That said, if you are a fan and have been curious for updates, make sure that you're following him on Twitter, and I recommend stopping by some of the streamers that he really likes, like Patikan. I don't have an exhaustive list, but he has been participating in the chats there, and I join everybody in wishing him well and hoping that he comes back soon. Again, we want to express enthusiasm for whenever it is that he returns, but also make it clear, we're going to be here when you feel better, so continue to relax, continue to recuperate, don't push it, and we will see you when you are feeling back up to it.
Hey, keep your head down. There's a lead slinger slinging lead yonder. If you want to keep that fine car of yours hole free, you do well just killing that long-shooting roach.
I'd like to point out that this is a scripted encounter, and that's the camera angle that it shows. A sniper is hiding and shooting at everyone that gets close. Find him and take him out. And you'll get some loot. Well, I like loot. Kill the sniper. Wait, it's an actual thing, like a dot. It's a purple dot. Oh, it's a purple dot right here. Oh, yo, I can shoot him from here. I can potentially shoot him from here. I did it. Oh, guys, also, so I believe tonight, so day and night are highly relative terms based on the number of friends that we've made who live on different points around the globe, but soon-ish, I think it's night Eastern time, but I don't know. Ricardo Just Vibing is doing a... Hold on, why is that happening? Ricardo Just Vibing, very good friend of the stream. Okay, just anything that gets me up here. Please stop shooting your gun. He is doing a birthday stream. I don't know if it's a full marathon, but it's going to be going for some time, and I'm concerned that this may start at a period in time when I won't be able to join in chat, but I very much want to... Okay, I've already unlocked this vehicle. Otherwise, I would say, hey, you can drive it back and collect it. So, yeah, if you guys are not yet following Ricardnio, again, recommend it. He's a very fun streamer. He likes to play games like Lords of Football and Fortnite, and recently he was playing a Cars video game, like as in the movie Cars, but it was made by Beanox Software, which, to be blunt, I'd never heard of Beanox before their Spider-Man games. I have to confess, I actively disliked their Spider-Man games, but that's not to say that they're not good developers of other titles. And it was a lot of fun getting to see Ricardnio spend some time with Cars. So, yeah, he's going to be doing a birthday stream coming up. And if you guys can possibly make it, at least stop in. Uh-oh. Hold on, I am in a minefield. Whoops.
Steer true to avoid the boom bombs hidden all around.
Oh, I prefer the non-boom bombs. I prefer the dance party bombs. Okay, I feel like we're outside the radius now. Carol Luna says, I don't think that guy read Sniper 101. Yeah, so I saw, there was an interesting interview with, gosh, I think it was like a 60 Minutes piece where they went to a... I may say this next part incorrectly, like it may have been a different facility. I want to say that it was a sniper training school or academy for the U.S. Marine Corps. And one of the things they talked about is that, like, hey, we've all seen the movies where, like, the sniper is, like, leaning out of the window very dramatically. In the real world, it's nothing like that. We are positioned usually 10 or 15 feet back from the sniper, from the window, rather, and there'll be cheesecloth over the window, so if somebody looks up, all they see is absolute blackness, like there's nothing in there at all. And one of the things that they were drilling on in this 60 Minutes piece was actually firing a sniper shot through a gap in a wall that was almost exactly as wide as the bullet itself, which would further conceal where the shot came from, because anybody looking at any sort of distance would just see a wall with maybe a crack in it, but it would never occur to you that they could shoot through. But the thing is, this technique takes a high degree of precision and training, because if the bullet clips the wall in any way, it will be extremely clear where the shot came from. So it's just interesting, but like, you know, yeah, like Sniper 101 is, first of all, you don't lean out the window so everyone can see the gun, and you certainly don't stand on top of a tower completely exposed like that fellow was. Okay, this person's scoping out something.
Hey, you know Roadkill. You that warrior. The one they say kills Roadkill. If you're looking to kill more, there's a bunch inside. A war buckler, even. But look, there's a hidden path up to the camp from the canyon.
Hold on, I am drinking. Roadkill have recently ambushed this camp, making the perimeter defenses weak. Look out for the Scrotus Warbuckler defending the inner grounds. There's a hidden path leading up from the canyon. A food source can be found along the cliffside. There's a project part. I want that. There's a scrapulance full of scrap inside the camp. Oh, it's like an ambulance, but a scrapulance. Oh, that's cool. I like that little wordplay. Okay, so I want to look at this with my... Nope. Well, actually, I don't object to having some water, sure. And now let's look at it. Is that the hidden path, do you think? Well, I hope so, because I don't see anything else from here.
Are you away on one of your long journeys inside your brain?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the birthday thing because Lucha Freddy also recently did, like I think it's a couple weeks ago at this point, maybe a week and a half, but he recently did a birthday thing, and I was very glad that we got a chance to just say happy birthday. I love the opportunity to let people know in the community, you count as a person. You're not a number, you're not a viewer, you're not a subscriber, you're a person. And like, happy birthday to you guys, and we hope that you're all doing well and stuff. Like, any opportunity we have to underscore that and to make that clear, because especially during COVID. Hold on, let me, got that? All right. What? Sorry, you were saying, yeah. Oh, here's the scrapulence. Okay, so we're taking this out with us because those things are worth way more scrap than most other sources. And you know what? Let me just refuel over here because it's been a minute. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, was it last weekend now? I almost want to wait until, like, Samalander is available at some point, because he is kind enough to frequently be in the streams as well. Because he was here for it. He saw it. And he knows what I mean when I say that last weekend, a bunch of us watched the Twin Peaks movie Firewalk with me. And I'm not going to say anything about it yet that would qualify as a spoiler. I will say that I feel the movie is unspoilable. I mean, I guess technically speaking, if you hadn't yet seen Twin Peaks and you wanted to watch it in chronological order, which I do think is the way that it's intended, where you would watch the first 2 seasons of the show and then watch the movie. The movie for sure would have spoilers, I guess, for the television series. But the hesitance that you hear there is, Firewalk with Me was legitimately one of the worst things I've ever watched. It's one of the worst things that I've seen in any medium. I disliked it intensely across, like, okay, so when I say that, let's be clear that, like, I mean, it's borderline unwatchable. I would cross over to say I considered it unwatchable and actively, aggressively disliked every moment that we spent engaged with it. And it doesn't start off that way, but it ranks alongside, like, Cabin Fever 2 of things that I guess it's not as bad as Cabin Fever 2 in that I didn't actually stop watching it. And it wasn't just the fact that I felt committed to the watch party. I wanted to see it all the way through. But here was my journey with Firewalk with Me. And again, no spoilers at this point in the conversation. I was actually very interested to see it. I was really curious because after how bad the second season of Twin Peaks had been, I was like, okay, so the show did poorly. It was canceled. It was clear that the people that were making it had ideas for additional story. So what is this going to be like? Like, they have funding and a cast and resources to do a movie. So how do they spend that goodwill? How do they spend that money and that faith that people... Oh, come on! I was in the middle of an execution. Nope. Okay, that was on me. That one was on me. I stopped to pick up the melee thing. So I went into it not necessarily with high expectations, but with a lot of interest, a lot of anticipation. There's a big difference between having unrealistic expectations and simply saying, I can't wait to see what this is. And in fairness, I think that Firewalk with Me is very well acted. I feel like everybody that was in it did what was asked of them, what was expected of them by the script and the director. And I'm trying to think if... Okay, so we're arcing towards spoilers, but I need to underscore. I recommend against watching this movie to everyone I've ever met. There is no one that I would say, yeah, Firewalk with Me is a good expenditure of your time. You should definitely watch Firewalk with Me instead of staring at an off screen. You should definitely, this is a better usage of your time than just looking at a screensaver for and it's like 2.5 hours long. Like, you guys, it's so long. I thought, so for some reason, I believe something that was incorrect. Oh, here's the food supply. I had thought that it was a made-for-TV movie, and it becomes clear pretty early in, oh, no way, there's no way this was ever on television. But I had thought that it was a made-for-TV movie, so I also made some incorrect assumptions about the length, and these assumptions are on me. I thought, okay, so if it was 2 hours on television after commercials, that's going to be like 90 to 100 minutes, so it's not going to be that long. You guys, it's 2.5 hours, it's like 2 hours and change. And that's if you watch the credits and stuff, but it's over 2 hours. And so it goes on and on and on. And the next thing that I say could arguably be a spoiler, except it's more me talking about what the movie turns out to not be. Or I don't think you can convincingly say, no, that guy. All right. I would have thought that explosion threw him off his game, but... Oh! Okay, that again was on me. Hold on, the shield guy being on the field is going to take away my ability to form coherent sentences for a second. Okay, that's my fault. I'm holding so much A. God, I want to throw him over the edge. Oh, just stomp on his coccyx. Javison, just taking a look at that situation in New Orleans with Ida, it looks pretty bad. So I have not seen any news coverage of that. What Jab is referencing there is Hurricane Ida was, I believe, projected to become a Category 4 hurricane before striking New Orleans. Although neither of us know anyone who lives in New Orleans, again, there's human beings living there that are in the direct path of an extremely dangerous storm. This is 1 week after we were staring down the barrel of a hurricane strike with a lot of trepidation. And in New Orleans, under virtually any circumstances, they are going to get it much, much worse than we were ever in danger of. So our hearts absolutely go out to people who are in the path of that storm, and especially living in New Orleans, which was, at least I learned during Hurricane Katrina, is actually below sea level and is only kept dry through a complex levee system, which can be, comparatively easily overwhelmed by gigantic storm surges, which a hurricane is surely going to bring with it. So, yeah, although I haven't seen any of this, Jab has proved a very reliable source of information, like current event information in the past. So, I'm very sorry to hear about that. Jab says it was probably 20 years. Okay, so Jab was also saying that Firewalk with Me was awful. It was probably 30 years since I've watched it, but my memory of it was that it seemed to invalidate the TV shows. So that's another interesting point. So I need to start talking about things that could be considered spoilers, followed by, I suspect, more explicit spoilers. To start us off a little bit light on that topic, if Firewalk with Me was a story that was told from the point of view of somebody dealing with a high degree of trauma to the point of pushing towards a schizophrenic break, I would say that the movie did an extremely good and artful job of communicating that degree of disorientation, of having difficulty discerning fact from fiction, what is real, what is a delusion, of having moments of perfect lucidity and calm where some of those traumas feel like they're very far away, followed by, oh, okay. I was going to do the throw at it, but that works too. That would be a very effective movie. And I may not have liked it very much, but there's another movie I can think of that I feel like, again, I don't think it was the goal, but it was what it succeeded at. The only trouble is that to share which movie I'm thinking of, I feel like would be a spoiler for that movie. So I'm going to back off on that, and we're only going to talk about Fire Walk with Me. The trouble is that's not what Fire Walk with Me is, because it's not just this one character or that character's family that is dealing with what appear to be breaks from rational thought and reaction. It's everybody all of the time. Everybody all of the time is engaged with what feels like a fading grasp on what is and is not real. So when it's every character, it doesn't feel like it's an artful choice to communicate some empathy with someone who is grappling with mental illness. It just feels like a bunch of stupid shit that's happening all the time. It doesn't feel like it means anything. It's obtuse for the sake of being obtuse. And that's how I feel about Fire Walk with Me. It's a bunch of stupid, nonsensical garbage that's happening all the time. Now, there is a coherent story that can be extracted from it, but it's so poorly communicated that it's going to leave members of the audience struggling and arguing and debating over what parts of the tale you're supposed to take literally and which ones are supposed to simply be characters being wrong, characters lying, unreliable information. And when there's no way for the audience to discern fact from fiction, just like the characters in the piece, it just feels like a big mess. Central Force is saying, I hope the levees hold and are able to provide some relief. Yeah, that and Did we ever go back for that? Remember the insignia and the scrap that we were supposed to go? Did I ever go back for that? Remember like 15 minutes ago? Okay, I think we must have, because that was over here, wasn't it? I think we must have. All right. All right, we're doing okay. All right, and so I want to see if there's any project parts or whatever. Yeah, I'll probably go hit these, but this one seems more valuable. So now, as far as what Jab said about invalidating the TV show, I feel like it's... So I don't know that it invalidates the TV show. I do know that it attempts to... I feel it attempts to retcon things in the TV show, which I feel is slightly different. The Boy 2, Brahms, invalidates the first movie. It takes what was good about the first movie and says, "Nah, just kidding. No, we don't do good stories here. It's super tired, pathetic tropes that are incredibly predictable. Remember what you liked about that first movie? You were just kidding about that. It's bad. So don't worry. It was bad the whole time." And that feels like, what a weird fuck you by the same writer and director of The Boy. In Fire Walk with Me, it introduces what I found to be a wildly unwelcome revelation that isn't directly contradicted by anything in the main series, but also is like, boy, it's fucking weird this didn't ever come up. It's so weird that none of this was ever presented anywhere in the main series. And the only thing that makes sense, by the way, is that they didn't feel they could get away with it. So now we're into explicit spoilers, okay? I'm just letting everybody know we're going to be talking about things that are... Oh, yeah, I gotta take this out as well.
Might be able to roll up closer in this.
Okay, so I gotta get this back to a... We're not gonna go up to this, obviously. So I want to get this back to here. I don't think we're gonna have any trouble with it. It's just this mountain path might be a little bit challenging. So, actually, you know what? Let's, I don't think we have to be super spoilery about it. So I'm gonna sort of, like, go along the outer edges. Twin Peaks starts off as being a television series. It's a murder mystery series about who killed a high school student named Laura Palmer. And she should be referred to at all points as young woman. If I slip up and say girl, I just want to aim at young woman because she's a young woman at this point. So here's a young woman named Laura Palmer, and she gets killed, and the television series is at least nominally about uncovering who killed Laura Palmer. Now, Fire Walk With Me is actually a prequel to that story, and one of the things that is intended to make it, like, the reason this movie exists is we're going to get to see what Laura Palmer was like when she was alive. And the answer to that, at first, like when described, might sound interesting. Okay, so Laura Palmer is a character who was dealing with a lot of dark stuff, and she was, like, there was a lot of things happening to her and around her, and there were a lot of ways that she was apparently trying to deal with a lot of like, frankly, attempting to deal with what felt like a pending schizophrenic break. It felt like there was some burgeoning mental illness. It felt like there was a lot of trauma, and she was dealing with this. Oh, can I stop here? Hold on, I think that we can... I didn't intend to drive right past this, but we're gonna stop for a second. No, we're not, because that's tethered down, and I don't have a harpoon to pull this up, so we might as well just leave. Oh, you fucking asshole! He just popped my rear tire. Well, let me get out of here before he pops my head open. Oh, that's gonna make the handling much better. Borlak is saying, it's times like this that I wish I'd listened to what my dad used to say. Wait, let's pause, because I want to know what Borlak's dad used to say. Was it, don't watch Twin Peaks? Because your father would have been a very wise man. What I'm getting around to is that what you are, I guess, expected to learn in Fire Walk With Me is that regardless of whether or not she was struggling with mental illness, regardless of whether or not the things that you see Laura Palmer experience are supposed to be taken as literal events that actually happen in reality, yeah, oh, the tire here is going to ruin this. Laura Palmer was... Okay, shit. Oh, wait, I'm undetected by them. I'm not undetected by them. Fuck. Oh, no. Oh, this is going to be a long drive, everybody. Oh, God. Tire. Okay, nope. If I can get a clear shot on his tire, I think I can break the pursuit. Okay. Drive! Drive! Get out of here. Okay. I'm sorry. The punchline was, so Borlak's setup was, it's times like this I wish I listened to what my dad used to say, and then I asked, what did your dad used to say? And Borlak says, I had no idea. I have no idea. I never listened. That's very good. I really like that. Oh, and look at this. Yep, more ammo, please. And I just got an achievement for maximum. I don't know if that shows... Oh, God. All right. The thing you learn in Fire Walk With Me, regardless of anything else, is that Laura Palmer was being sexually abused by her father. And the thing that I believe that Jab is referencing there is having just watched 2 full seasons of Twin Peaks. And I have to confess, there were some episodes that I straight up missed because I'd get called away. There would be other things. But like at least a handful of episodes. But the vast majority of them we've seen, that was not hinted at any point at all. In fact, if there was one performance that I found particularly effective, it was Ray Wise as Laura Palmer's father, having his life completely unspooled by the death of his daughter. We don't have any kids. I've never had to experience what the loss of a child might be like. I can only expect that I don't believe I would survive the experience. And Ray Wise as Laura Palmer's father did a fantastic job of communicating that with a performance that felt absolutely distraught, torn down to the bones, and left out in the sun. That's what his performance of losing his daughter was like. So then to watch in the movie Fire Walk with Me that and like there's some really stupid bullshit that's in there too, but the idea that he was sexually abusing his daughter regardless of the reasons why, and like when I say that, like the movie attempts to, I'm just going to say it outright, both the television series and the movie play with the idea that he was being possessed by an evil spirit, and that's maybe why it was occurring. But the fact that none of that had ever been even hinted at in the TV show reeks to me of retconning for shock value, which I think is a really bad reason to do it. And maybe this was always in the cards, but they knew that incest wasn't something that they could dabble in on a network television series, so that's why it was just left unsaid. And I found this aspect of the television of the movie rather awful. You can have a horror movie and it can be a horror movie, but as soon as it starts delving into things that are I'm not going to tell everybody what their line is. That to me is a big line. And having watched 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, I just wasn't prepared to go into this and have part of it be like an incest story. So there's that part of it. So I'm going to see if I can get up here or down here and yet know what's in the cards here. Oh, well, that might have just smashed one of my only ways up. But let's go see if we can... Come on. And hello to Haseo. Haseo, I hope that... Wait, oh, Haseo just raided over. Oh, my goodness. What a topic to come in. You guys, I'm so sorry. Because if I'd seen the raid moments ago, I would have shared that we are currently having a conversation about a television series named Twin Peaks. I don't enjoy it. And specifically, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Twin Peaks movie that came out about a year, 18 months, 2 years, I don't know how long, after the television series came up. So we are having a fairly open discussion about Twin Peaks and Fire Walk with Me, and that was a hell of a commentary to come in on, because I was just talking about some specific things that happen in there. I will also note for anybody that just came in, I cannot recommend enough that you do not watch these series. The Twin Peaks and Fire Walk with Me in specific. I feel like Twin Peaks is at its strongest in the first season. After the first season, I feel like my overall takeaway is it went nowhere. None of the setup that they did led to anything. None of the setup that they did ever was going to lead to anything. They didn't know what they were doing. They had no long-term plan. And I feel like that is exposed in spades as you get to into the second season. And specifically what we were talking about here is the fact that Fire Walk with Me, in an attempt to justify why we were watching a prequel story about a character whose story could be largely discerned by the events in the regular television series, they decided to retroactively add new events to her life to basically justify why the movie is occurring. That's a terrible... Like, if you need to start your screenplay process by justifying why the movie even exists, maybe the movie shouldn't exist. It's just a thought. Thank you very much to Haseo for the raid, and I hope that Scarlet Nexus was fun. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna say this again in a minute, but I had always intended to play Scarlet Nexus. Haseo's glowing review of it helped sell us on, actually during a recent Steam sale, we picked it up, and I'm very much looking forward to playing it. Yeah, as Force says, I cannot recommend enough that you do not waste any precious seconds of your life on this show. And again, as I say that, very few things in life are without any merit at all. And I will say this, Twin Peaks, the television series, I actually like the way that it's shot. I like the framing, and like it's it looks very pleasant. Here's the thing about Twin Peaks. If you watch any individual episode, you may not know what's going on, but you're going to look at it and say, wow, this series looks really good. It was shot on film, and I really like all of the characters. I like all the acting, and I like all the actors. I like the people that brought these characters to life. And virtually to a person, that's all true. So it's not that Twin Peaks is absolutely without merit, but that in no way changes the fact that after 2 seasons of Twin Peaks and a movie, you will feel like your time meant nothing to the screenwriters and directors that brought this to life. And I wanted to get that thought out. Wait, did I? Oh, there it is. Yeah, hold on, because there's probably going to be like something to read here. I seem to hold A for more than a second. Johnny, done smoked it all up. Nothing but twigs left. Hungry like a motherfucker. No food. Want to take a swim in the harbor, but the damn thing's dry. Gotta get. Fuck this place. Catch you when. Alright. I'm gonna pick up this fuel canister just in case. Yeah, Scarlet Nexus is one of those games that I actually don't want to know anything about until we get a chance to play it, so I've had to leave a lot of lurks in Haseo's streams, but I am very heartened by the fact that he continues to enjoy it. Sometimes a big game comes out, and it's all the rage, and then it has a fast die-off. Now, Scarlet Nexus is it's a JRPG, right? So it's going to be a pretty long game. The fact that Haseo continues to return to it, Haseo has he has an attention span that I recognize. He has an attention span like I feel I have myself. Oh, we're into this. We're into this for the 60-hour, 100-hour playthrough, whatever it's going to be. Kasumi will go with says, to Haseo, wishing you an awesome day, and then hello, new person I haven't met yet. I love the storyline of the game. Yeah, role-playing mechanics get you so far. Like, especially like the leveling up mechanics and whatever. Like, they get me to a point where it's like, oh, fun, I'm getting experience points and I'm leveling up this character. But what separates what gets me through to the end of the game is, what's the story like? What justifies like this investment in time? Because sooner or later, getting the next skill point probably doesn't mean that much. So then you have to have either really in-depth like combat mechanics. There has to be some other like game mechanic to it that is going to hold your interest. And that, you know, I've certainly had games where I like the combat mechanics, but what I really like is the story. I want to know who these characters are. I want to get invested in their tale. I want to care about where they're going and what's going to happen when they get there. And that for me was what ruined Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I've shared this in the past, but I reached a point with that game where I felt like I'd been playing it for dozens of hours. I had very little interest in what was happening. The one or two interesting plot points that had ever happened were hours ago. Like dozens of hours had passed since anything of interest had happened in the story, and it was just going into an environment and basically navigating a series of corridors until I had reached the end of it. And I lost faith that anything was ever going to happen that made me interested in the story. So I sort of bailed out on it. The fact that people like Kasumi and Haseo talk about... Oh, whoops. Who is doing that? Oh, there's a sniper. Hold on. Whoops. Hold on. Let me just... Hold on. Time out. Or time in.
You did it!
Okay. Now, if I wanted to, can I even get up here? Because this man might have had ammo or whatever. Centrifugal Force says, wow, well, now what am I supposed to do with my game, with the game I'm developing called Skill Point Progress Simulator? They actually have, like, fake games like that where it's just like make number go up. I think there's actually one called like Make Number Go Up, which is, I think, expected to expose the hollow sense of advancement that certain games give you. But that's why I care about story, and that's why I like and that so it actually dovetails really nicely with why I stuck with a game like Divinity Original Sin 2. Like, I was really engaged by the story of my character in that game, and then by the side characters that I'd brought along with me, the other recruitable characters. I wanted to know what happened. I actually didn't care very much about the overall story, but I was very interested in the character stories that happened there. Okay, couple developers having a good time. Great to see you last night, brother. This is the picture I talked about. Ronnie's dressed up like a zombie. This was perfectly passable 3 years ago. If someone comes into a bar like that today, they'd get shot, no questions asked. Too many damn diseases and viruses and shit. People actually believe the zombies are coming. Let's talk soon. I guess we don't get to see the makeup of the guy. That's so clearly a photograph. And I just have to assume it's a photograph of the developers, but no, whatever, that's cool. Yeah, see, Jab doesn't care about story. I care about story a lot. It is the thing that gets me pulled forward, which is interesting in a game like this, where, to be blunt, I feel like the story of Mad Max is effectively non-existent. This guy wants to get across the silent wastes, or whatever they're called, the big silence, or whatever it's called. I have to assume that is the Pacific Ocean, because my sense is that we're in Australia. So it's either the Pacific Ocean, or like maybe wants to go north to like what used to be India, and it's all dried up so we can just drive there. I have to assume that's what the story is here, but I don't think that we've hit anything resembling a plot point in about 6 hours at this point. So, but what is keeping me engaged in it is the story of talking with you guys, of getting a chance to talk about things like Fire Walk with Me, or Twin Peaks, or television series that only lasted a single season, or superhero shows, or like movies or whatever. All that stuff. Like, that's what keeps me coming back. Are you fucking serious? Okay, it's not a problem. I just have to figure out a way to get fuel up here or down there. So does this thing have like line? Is this the fuel receptacle, which I sure feel like it should be, or does it have lines that go any other place? It really doesn't look like it does. But here's the problem. Oh no, wait, we've had this exact mistake before. You can climb with a fuel canister. Yep. All right. Yeah, Kasumi, if you are... Right, you feel it from the side or something? It's so weird. Ignite, throw. Okay, where do I fuel this sucker up? Refuel. This gets me every single time. And I'll show you exactly why. See that yellow thing up there? Doesn't that look like a funnel? Doesn't it look exactly like a funnel that you would use to pour the gas in there, and then this would sort of feed fuel up into the gas burner? It's not a complaint, it's just me explaining. We've been playing this for, like, this is episode 13, you guys, and I'm still getting that wrong. Oh, but what I was going to say too, Kasumi, is if you like story-based games, just for the record, this game is particularly not, it's not very story-based. Are you kidding me? No, no. I didn't get up high enough. Arg. Okay. I really thought that was going to be enough fuel. I know it didn't go all the way up. I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. The game's not going to make me find multiple gas canisters. That would be ridiculous. Come on. Come on, I'm not going to have to do that. But when it is story-based, Kasumi, I actually shut up. See, there's no dialogue, there's no story happening here, but one thing that's very important to me when we are playing a story-based game is that everybody, I want to hear the dialogue myself. I want to read through what's happening in the game. It's not that I read every single book or anything like that, but there is always a good faith attempt to dive into the game, to engage with the story, and to meet the game on its own terms. Kazumi says, when it comes to watching streamers, I enjoy background gaming of stuff and would never have time to play. Yeah. All right, so let's see if we can refuel. And if we're not all the way full, I will get the canister out of the back of the... Okay, that's... Hold on a second. Yeah, that was nothing. That was nothing at all. Why is there an empty fuel canister here? Maybe I already used that at one point. I don't remember using it. Oh, I really fucked this up. Here's the good news, you guys. We have a completely full fuel canister in the back of the car, whatever it's called. And yeah, I super burned all the fuel that's actually here. So that's it. All right. Like, Kasumi, one of the other games that we're playing here at the time is 13 Sentinels. Oh, no, no! Oh, I'm not going to be able to get up there. There's no point. If I go up there, I'm just going to die. Look at the fuel. Force, you are 100% right. This game does not want me to ride in a balloon. Well, it wouldn't be a gameplay mechanic if it was safe, would it? So, yeah, I'm going to go find something else to do for a while. Carolina says, yes, Angel, it bugs me when streamers speak over the stories in the game that they play. Oh, that's from day one. That's one of the main rules. In fact, if you ever go to the About tab on... This is going to be so loud when the storm comes in. Yep. Yep. The car has taken critical damage. There's a lot of scrap out in the world. All right, I'm gonna try to grab this because it's worth at least like 400 scrap. Oh, fudge. Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's the opposite of fine. But yeah, when it comes to story, like by contrast, we've been playing 13 Sentinels, and during those streams... Okay, that's bad. Let me collect the loot, if I could. Good. Ow. So I believe that's the one that I tethered, but I can't get to it from here, so... Just... Shit! Oh, okay. If I can pull that down... Yeah, this might seem stupidly dangerous, This is, in fact, stupidly dangerous. Don't get hit by lightning. All right, and I believe that vaporized most or all of the scrap that I wanted to get. Get it. Okay, so that's 300 scrap I just picked up. 450, get in the car. Oh, God. No! Okay, hold on. There's another scrap pile here. And as you can see, it's so worth it. Okay, but here's the thing. Oh. Okay, this is fine. Okay, I need to get somewhere because my car is very low on health and I am very low on health. So I think our best bet is to just try to drive south, just try to get out of the region at this point. If I can tow this out, we'll get another, like, 450... Shit. Okay, I'm gonna try to drink some water. That's my health down at the bottom left. If we're very lucky, I will recuperate some of my lost health, and we won't die here. Okay. I'm basically waiting for the green bar in the bottom right to fill completely up. If it does, then that is the car's maximum level of health. A little bit faster. There we go. Now, the scrap we were towing is just on the other side of this ridge. Well, now I'm just fucked. Okay, this looks like shelter. Get up. Get in. Okay. We're less likely to take lightning damage in here. A little bit more likely to take stabbing damage.
Now it's my turn.
Okay, let's have a snack. And at this point, honestly, just wait here. You can see if you look down at the bottom left-hand corner, see that that hand, the two hands actually with the gears around them, those are the scrap boxes. So if we can just sort of hole up here until the storm passes, it doesn't look like they're blowing anywhere. We can go out. Yep, here we go. Honest to God, I think that the storms are a super neat gameplay mechanic. They're definitely loud. They're very dangerous, but with that danger comes reward. So it feels like it's not just an obnoxious inconvenience. Whoops. Can I
need the car.
Yeah, bring me the car.
He can't get here.
Okay. Well. Wait, isn't there a third piece? Oh, did the third piece, like, clip inside of the rock or something? That's fine. So here's my concern. If I try to go back to the car, and yeah, it looks like I didn't get all the things in that hideout either, but if I try to go back to the car, then the scrap pile might might despawn, or in the fiction of the game, it might get claimed by somebody else. So I'm going to run over to it, and then we'll call for the car when we get there. Oh, and, okay, so, yeah, I got that comment from Kasumi as well. Yeah, in 13 Sentinels, when the characters are talking... Here's the general rule of the stream. When the characters are talking, I'm not. You know, I want to hear what they have to say. I want the audience to be able to hear what they have to say. I always feel like if you're just sort of, like, talking through the story beats, it communicates pretty clearly to the audience that you don't care what the story is. And that's fine if that's the... Man... Okay, hold on. Let me see if... We might be able to harpoon that out, because otherwise he's too proud to crawl around on his belly. But I bet we can harpoon that out. Okay, thank you for parking so far away. Yeah, Scarlet Nexus is for sure on the list. There's actually a few longer form RPGs that are on the list, but starting in 2020, one of the mandates became, let's try to get out some, nope. Okay, let me see if I can get to it from the other side.
I'm going. Wait here.
If we can just get in close enough. Nah. Alright, that's 150 scrap, which is the only reason that I'm spending any time on this at all. But I feel like we're gonna have to... Oh. Did I know that you could do this? Hold down left stick? Yeah, no, that's back in the corner. Oh well, womp womp. There's no use crying over lost scrap. There'll be plenty of that to go around later. Now I did want to, like, share a story of a specific scene. If I were inclined to talk through a scene-by-scene analysis of Fire Walk with Me, I would be impressed by anyone for whom that was possible, because the movie is so nonsensical. It has so many examples of, like, just a bunch of stuff happens that it feels like it would be... I don't know how you would recap the plot. You can talk about, like... You can talk about, like, what happened in the story. Like what do you know at the end of it? And the answer is not a lot more than you would have known by just watching two seasons of Twin Peaks. But you do get to see, I think her name is Cheryl Lee. I think that's the actress's name. You get to see a really good performance by her. And that's the thing. Rachel Lee, Ray Wise, you know something, really, the two of them? I'm trying to think of anybody who really else stood out. It's not that anybody else did a bad job, but they, for sure, did, like, just stellar jobs of acting in the movie. Like, legitimately, no shade, no damning with faint praise. They were, by far, the best thing in the movie. And they did what was asked of them. They did what was on the screenplay. They were true to the characters and the direction that they had been given. And they were great. So Mia's setting up and not talking, but just want to say that I'm excited for this Fire Walk with Me recap. Well, the trouble is it's impossible to recap. Like, it's... Like, I don't want to disappoint people, but, like... It's like recapping a series of disconnected dreams that you had on different nights, some of which you had while high on LSD. That's what Fire Walk with Me is like. There is a story that emerges through the chaos, but to do a scene-by-scene recap is, I honestly think, impossible, because there's scenes and storylines that go nowhere. To give you guys a sense, the first 30 to 40 minutes of the movie don't have anything to do with the movie. And like, people who have watched it who liked it will probably take issue with that. And you can take issue with that. Take all the issue you want. It doesn't change the fact that the first 30 to 40 minutes could be entirely cut from the movie and nothing would have changed. The first 30 to 40 minutes shows you characters that you don't know, in a place you don't know, investigating a crime that you could have surmised had occurred just by people throwing out a couple explainer lines in the main series, and then at the end of it, it just cuts to black in the middle of a scene and doesn't come up again. So... that's the kind of movie that we're talking about. It's the kind of movie that doesn't care at all for narrative cohesion, so it is effectively impossible to break down on a scene-by-scene basis like we might do for something like The Beach. But here's an example of a scene that takes place in Fire Walk with Me. And again, as far as I can tell, means nothing and could be completely cut from the movie without anybody recognizing that anything was missing. In fact, the movie for sure would be better if this scene was not in there at all. So I'm not going to fall for the Shiv ground execution, because then that guy gets to hit me in the back of the head, and it's just a bad scene. This guy can do because no one's around me. All right, can I get that? No, no time. Hold on a second, you guys, because I can't talk about fucking nonsense while also engaging with this. Yeah, see? Dodge. Oh boy. Okay, he should have gotten me. That was a very late reversal. Okay, so here's a scene, and like this is what I'm talking about, where like the thing I'm about to describe to you isn't a spoiler because nothing happens. No, sorry, a lot of things happen. They just don't mean anything at all. So the main FBI agent in Twin Peaks is named Dale Cooper, and he's played by an actor named Kyle MacLachlan, and he is great. He's great. He's great as the character. He seems to be like a super cool actor. I checked out his Twitter feed after watching the first couple seasons there, and he's out there like advising people to wear their masks and get vaccinated. Like, I don't know every opinion the man has ever had, but he seems like a super neat guy who is interested in engaging with his fans and likes how enthusiastic people were about Twin Peaks. I, at this moment, don't have anything to say bad about Kyle MacLachlan. I'm sure that at some point he, like, I don't know, stepped on a rabbit or something. Like, nobody is perfect, but he seems like an okay dude, and I really enjoyed watching him in Twin Peaks. I did not enjoy watching him at all in Fire Walk with Me, where one of the few scenes that he was in, and it's a whole other story, but one of the few scenes that he's in is he walks into a room and he says to the FBI director, I don't know the date, it's 10:10 on February 12th. I'm worried because this is the date of the dream that I told you about. And then he walks out. The FBI director doesn't say anything that I remember. Kyle MacLachlan walks out of the room, and he stands in front of a security camera. And then he goes into the security office that is inexplicably right next to the security camera, and he looks to see that he is not on the camera. And then he walks out, and he stands in front of the camera again, and then he goes in and he looks at the live feed footage. So he's not looking at tape, he's just looking at the live feed footage. Hold on a second. Neighbors, when you read this, we're gone between the sickness, riots, and water receding. Everything's going to hell. So far, all southbound traffic is jammed. There's been shootings. The mall is no-go. No gas anywhere. If you want to get out, use the bikes. Bring plenty of ammo for the 12. Godspeed. And then, the third time that Kyle MacLachlan does this, he stands in front of the camera, and then he goes back into the security security office, and he looks at the live feed, and lo and behold, Kyle MacLachlan is now being shown on the security footage, like it's an echo in time. And who's that walking behind him? It's David Bowie. For some reason. So David Bowie walks past Kyle MacLachlan and goes into the FBI director's office. And I want to say here that we're really doing the movie a huge credit by calling this an FBI director's office, because it looks like it's maybe the nurse's break room at a decommissioned hospital that has been very rapidly retrofitted to look like it might be an FBI office, in that there's like a couple desks over here and there's like an FBI shield up on the wall. So it is it looks like a high school production. It looks like the way that a team of high schoolers might dress an open space if they had $25 in budget and a couple strong backs to move in a desk or two. So that's what the FBI agent looks at. And so, what the fuck's his name? I just said his name. David Bowie. David Bowie marches into the office and he says, do you have any idea who this man is? And he points at Kyle MacLachlan, and the FBI agent director screams something at him, and then it crossfades to a character that I'm going to call a goblin, but I don't actually know who he is or what he is. It's this person wearing a red suit and a white mask and what may or may not be a wig of like a flat top haircut. And he's dancing or doing something. And then the scene crossfades to David Bowie sitting on a chair, yelling something that I don't think that you're allowed to hear what it is. And then the goblin is there again. And then it fades back into the FBI director's office. And the FBI director announces at high volume, he's gone, he's gone. Like David Bowie has apparently just vaporized right in front of them. And then one of the FBI agents says, I just got off the phone with the front desk. He was never here at all. And that's the scene. That's the whole scene. Now, I like again, people who are like purists and they want. I'm looking for the water spigot, by the way, because it's shown here on the map, but I don't actually know where it is. There were like some other like crossfade in moments. Like at one point, the mask is pulled aside and it's a child, and then the mask goes back on, and there's a very rough cut, and then the mask comes out again, and now it's not a child but a monkey. What the fuck does that mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything, because nothing in the movie means anything. And again, this is very important. I'm not spoiling anything here because none of this ever comes up again. There are no scenes in which Kyle MacLachlan or anybody talks about David Bowie having been there, except not there. It's not explained for how the front desk was able to confirm that that man was never... Like, it seems to me like the logical conclusion, if front desk says, hey, David Bowie never checked in here, might have been that he must have gotten in a different way. And that's weird and suspicious, and we have to figure out where this man went. But also, what do you mean he disappeared? Fucking what? What are you talking about? Did he just fade out of view? Did he walk behind a corner and then you lean back there and he was gone? Is he like Bob the Puppet, where if he disappears behind a couch, he suddenly no longer exists? What does this mean? Nothing. It means nothing at all. And I am willing to accept some weirdness in my entertainment. I'm willing to accept that there are things that you may not be meant to understand, but when there are entire sections of the movie that don't represent any narrative value at all, like when you can point to large sections of this 2.5-hour runtime and say you could cut out this, and this, and wind up with a 70-minute movie that at least doesn't waste your time, that's not a good movie to me. I just and by the way, so after watching this, because another thing for me, Kasumi, is I try to avoid spoilers to the fullest extent that I can for almost any media that I intend to consume. It's one of the reasons that I haven't been around Haseo's streams of Scarlet Nexus. I think I said Azric there because it seems to me like a game that Azric would also really enjoy. But so I've been avoiding spoilers. So I went into Firewalk with Me sort of accidentally, knowing a couple things that can be absorbed through just cultural osmosis. I knew it was a prequel. And I that might have been all I know. I'm trying to remember if I knew that it hadn't been well received. But then after watching it, then I went and I read about it on Wikipedia. And apparently, allegedly, this movie was booed at the Cannes Film Festival. It was universally reviled, both by fans of the show and newcomers when it came out. And then you get into some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, like Kyle MacLachlan. Like, at first I read, whoa, hold on. Hold on, I really don't want to stand next to the bomb man. Okay. Yeah, you guys can have a big party over there with the explodey guy. Kyle MacLachlan is barely in the movie, and that is a change from how the screenplay was written. Allegedly, he was supposed to be much, much more involved in the story, but Kyle MacLachlan at first said that he wouldn't be in it at all. And the first reason that he gave is that he didn't want to wind up getting typecast. He didn't want his only role that he would ever be known for as Agent Dale Cooper. He likes the character, but he didn't want it to be the only thing that he was known about. Okay, that sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? Yeah, you want to be known for different things. Like Adam Driver is out there doing anything he can that isn't Star Wars right now, and it turns out he's a really good actor, and I hope that he has a long and fruitful career. Thumbs up on that. But later on in life, maybe not that much later, Kyle MacLachlan also revealed that he didn't want to do it. By the way, when are we... So somebody let me know when Mia is live. I don't want to override her time. The nice thing about this game is we can save it at basically any moment and pop over to Mia. But Kyle MacLachlan then also revealed that he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to fucking do it. It turns out that the second season of Twin Peaks that I disliked so much was also disliked by the people that made it. The people who were on screen during season 2 of Twin Peaks felt like it had badly lost its way, really abandoned anything that they liked about making it. And Kyle MacLachlan in particular, he himself used the word bitter. Kyle MacLachlan said that during season 2 of Twin Peaks, David Lynch was basically never on set. Mark, and forgive me because I always forget if it's Mark Frost or Mark Snow. I don't know why I have trouble remembering that. So whichever one of those it is, Mark Cold was not on the set at all. And he felt bitter about that. He felt like the show had really been abandoned by the people that had created it, and he didn't want to be involved with the production anymore, and was eventually sort of talked around to to participate. So he is in the movie for a very, very short amount of time. Oh, G-Nice says the game... Hi, G-Nice. Yeah, at some point I should acknowledge... Yeah, the game is actually really good in this game. One of the reasons that I enjoy it is that it has a great deal of similarity to the Batman Arkham games. So it is very comfortable for me because I've played a lot of Batman Arkham, and as a result, we've been having a good time with the combat overall. I flub moves constantly, but so do I in Batman, so it's fine. Yeah, G-Nice, other than that, beyond that, I hope that you're having a great weekend. We are close to the end of the stream, but we're going to be tossing over to Mia, and we're just having a quick chat about the Twin Peaks movie Fire Walk with Me, which I would say to any human being, do not watch it. It is possible that some people will watch it and get a lot out of it and enjoy it immensely. I don't know who that is or what they would enjoy about it. Also, by the way, Sherilyn Fenn, who played a character named Audrey on Twin Peaks, also declined to participate in the project and said at the time it was scheduling, and then also revealed, yeah, I didn't want to do it. I really disliked season 2. I thought that season 2 was really bad. I didn't perceive any value. Sorry, I might be reading between the lines here. I am saying that she perceives no value in continuing to be associated with the production because of how much she did not enjoy working on season 2. Stop. Yes, I am here. We're gonna park right here. Let's get out my sniper rifle. And we're just gonna... There. Okay, anything else I can shoot from here? You can drive with the sniper rifle too, we've discovered. So before I get out, let's just have Chum Bucket. He doesn't drive fast, but you can reposition a little bit if you need to. Gina's is saying, okay, I'm old enough to remember when the TV series first came out. I am old enough that I could remember that, but I didn't watch it, and I didn't know anybody else who watched it, and I think I'd only ever heard of it. So I came to Twin Peaks understanding only that it was... It is a well-regarded television series today, and more than Amia was very curious to watch it, because, she hadn't seen it, I hadn't seen it, Sam Melander had never seen it, so... it seemed like, hey, let's all go on this journey together, and we'll get to find out what Twin Peaks is together. Like, we'll all get to experience it for the first time. And at the end of it, I feel like I neither put this together nor... Oh! Okay, hold on. All right, yeah, you're a big hero until you lose your shield. The camera's not going to like this very much. All right, I'm going to pick this up just in case we need it. So, in any event, it's, I have to say, pretty vindicating to hear from the people that were on the television series that season 2 was as much an unpleasant, rudderless mess behind the scenes as it appeared to be for me watching the television series in the year of our Lord 2021. Because whatever inventiveness or cinematic experience that Twin Peaks might have been, or its associated movie, today I look at it and say, am I just spoiled by modern television? Am I just spoiled by how far production value has come? And no, even at the time, people were nonplussed. So I feel like that's most of what I have to say about Twin Peaks. Don't watch it. The actors are very good. They seem to be very gracious. Yeah, let's not fight on the stairs, boys. It's not gonna work out. Yes, do it. Forrest is saying what's interesting to me is how big of a cult following that show has. Like, I have cousins who are super into that show. And let me say this. In the first season, like when we watched the first season, it's not like I was in love with it, but I was like, okay, I can see what it is that people connected with this. Like, I have a particularly fond memory of the first season that I feel like in the description will make it sound like I am a crazy person. Because, like, what is Angel talking about right now? But it is... I don't know, and also, in the telling, I will fail to capture the magic of this moment. I hope, and I really should check before we... I would hope that if you guys were to Google this moment, and like, maybe as I describe it, we'll come up with some search terms that might bring it up, you can see this for yourself. But in season 1 of Twin Peaks, there is... for no particular reason, like a farmyard show or like a llama show that's happening. I don't know. The point is that they are in the Great Northern, which is this absurdly large and spacious inn, this big hotel that is, there's like the Overlook Hotel, but of the world of Twin Peaks. And for reasons, there's like a llama there. And there's a scene that's happening between Kyle MacLachlan and the sheriff character. The sheriff's name is Harry S. Truman, like the president, but that's not who he is. And I unfortunately don't know what the actor's name is. But right in the middle of the scene, where, like, the animal handler who's working on set to guide the llama through the scene, walks the llama through the scene, and the llama walks right past Kyle MacLachlan and, like, gets right in his face, like almost like fronts to Kyle MacLachlan, like he's physically challenging him. And Kyle MacLachlan turns, meets the llama's stare, and there's just like a moment between the two of them, and then the llama gets walked away, and Kyle MacLachlan looks back at the sheriff and just continues with the scene like nothing happened. And right now you're thinking, like, what is Angel talking about? That, I don't know if that sounds stupid or what is he talking about? But it is Kyle MacLachlan, to me, demonstrating that he is one of the world's most unflappable actors, because he doesn't break character for 1 second. He just continues on like he didn't just come like nose to snout with a llama. And it's like, it's so weird and silly, but whereas I just described a scene about a goblin with a flat top haircut who's dancing and David Bowie vanishes and nothing happens and nothing means anything, here's another scene that just like, but the thing is, it's a moment that was so clearly unscripted that takes place in a scene that is setting up something between the FBI agent and the sheriff, but it's so quirky and weird that it gives the series its own flavor, its own tone, its own sense of style. And that's what I think people reacted to well in the first season of Twin Peaks. We are doing a murder mystery series. It's got some soap opera baked into it, but it's also got this sort of small town, quirky America, almost dreamlike quality to it, where, again, you don't necessarily know if what's happening on screen is something that you should consider canonical. Like, the things that you see in the world may or may not be fully happening. And there's a fun joy to it that I feel like people reacted to. Well, I don't know what these people are up to, but they're gonna die of thirst and starvation out in the world. So if you think about it, I'm just doing them a favor here. Oh shit! It was a trap. But who is it a trap for? Boom! All right, what do you think of your odds, friend? just directly into hold to collect loot. So, I feel like the people that like Twin Peaks have very, very fond memories of the first season. If there are people out there who are like, no, man, the series continued to be good through the second season. Remember that whole subplot where James was living in a mansion and there was like a fucking heiress plot that had nothing to do with anything at all, and then it just ends without any real resolution whatsoever? Yeah, that was great television. All these plot developments that went nowhere. That's what I watch television for. Maybe that's out there, and I don't mean to be insulting towards their taste. Like, I'm not going to try to convince them not to like it, but I feel like when people remember Twin Peaks fondly, they are invariably remembering things that happened in the first season, because everything that followed after that seems like nonsense. So then, I will say this. Oh, really? Okay. After watching Firewalk with Me, we got together with Mia and we watched a video recap or review of Firewalk with Me from people who were presenting it as something that history has gauged kindly. That although people disliked it back when it first came out, today it's not as badly thought of. That like, over time, people have thought better of it. And what was interesting in watching this video by people who ostensibly seemed interested in defending it is they say a lot of the things that I just said to you. That it's very well acted. Firewalk with Me is very well acted. The first season of the television show was good. The second season of the television show was pretty bad, although they presented as though it was on sort of some sort of redemption arc.
Now you'll bleed.
As it went, I disagree. I saw no redemption on the way at all. They said that David Lynch and like Twin Peaks is very funny. I guess, like, I mean, the thing that I like about the llama is arguably funny, but that's not scripted. That's something that happened despite David Lynch and whatever was in the script. Unless somebody can show me the pre-written page where a llama decides to try to alpha Kyle MacLachlan and gets stared down. If that's in the script, then I will take back what I just said. Okay, that I didn't see coming. All right, let me just grab this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lose a lot of this fury mode, but... Oh, just kick him right down the stairs. All right, I feel like that was super inartful, but it got him dead. Okay, so Mia's going live, but please mention the disgusting abuse of women throughout the entire series. So, yeah, oh God. So, that's another thing. So I talked about the incest stuff that's happening during the movie, and my personal opinion that if this was ever scripted into it, it was introduced in the movie because they couldn't quite get away with that on network television. I dispute. I don't think that that was ever part of the plot, and I think that they threw it in for shock value. But I could be wrong. I don't know whatever was said during interviews at the time. But the other thing is, starting in the television series and then really getting aggressively, abrasively awful in the movie is these young actresses being written into scenes where they get, I can't say romantically involved because that's not anywhere in this series. I feel bad for the person who just blew them up one floor away, apparently thinking that I was headed down there. But getting, like, physically intimate with men who are, as far as I can tell, almost to a person 20 years their senior. Like, multiple times in this series, there are actresses who are written into scenes to be engaged with men who are like literally old enough to be their fathers. And I'm not saying that, like, there must never be an age gap in, like, any sort of love story. And that goes for the real world, too. If you are currently, like, in a constructive, healthy relationship with someone and there's a big age gap, fine, I don't care. What I am saying is that to these actresses, this is a job. They're here to do a work. They are actors by trade. And to have nearly every single one of them engaged at one point in what it was to me a very uncomfortable and many times non-consensual between their characters, physical intercourse with other actors that are like 20, 25 years older than them. I don't want to overstate it, but it felt cheap and gross and exploitative and okay, so Kasumi's stepping out for parent mode for game events. Kasumi, thank you so much for stopping by. If you followed at any point in the diatribe, thank you very much. Otherwise, it was great to meet you, and hopefully we'll see you again. Okay, Mia is live. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Stop for 1 second. I'm going to try to finish up this area because we are a little bit more than half done, and I think that I can do it quickly. And I want to finish up this final thought. At one point, one of the actresses, and I'm concerned that I'm going to mispronounce her name, but it's like Madchek. It's like the actress's name is like Madchek or Modchek. I don't remember her last name. Her character gets into okay, so it's not really it's not much of a physical romantic relationship, but at one point she's written into a scene where she needs to kiss and borderline make out with an actor who is several years her senior named David Lynch. The director and creator of the television series, ostensibly the showrunner, wrote into the television series scenes where a character played by him gets to kiss and make out with her. And again, for all I know, they were actually in a romantic relationship at the time. I didn't look this up. I don't know one way or the other. But I am saying that in a television series where things like that happen multiple times, it feels especially gross to have the showrunner and creator of the series writing himself into scenes where he gets to make out with hot actresses.
But it has scrap value.
And stuff like that runs throughout Twin Peaks. And that's it. That was perfect. We are done. Okay, so I am going to save it right where we stand. Save. Yes, overwrite the autosave. And that's it. So that was perfect. So we're going to jump and bounce out to twitch.tv/morethanamia. She is playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and it is story mode. So if you were concerned about spoilers, she's in deep enough now that, yeah, for sure, almost any story event that happens now is going to be considered a spoiler. But she is an awesome, very, very fun streamer. I look forward to Red Dead Mia every single Sunday. So I hope that you will join us as we raid over. Also, let me just make sure that we're doing this correctly. Let me get the raid started. Ronan says, and hello to Ronan. This show sounds amazing. Thanks, Angel. It is... Here's the troubling and disappointing part with it. Twin Peaks is not without merit. I feel the movie is absolutely atrocious. It is an abomination. I would be happy to spoil every single thing that happens in it in an attempt to convince people not to watch it. But again, it's unspoilable because so much of the movie, the actual experience, the actual things that would recommend the movie come from watching it and seeing what good performances are put into it. From a narrative and story standpoint, from a plot standpoint, it's a burning wreckage of a plane wreck. I detested that movie. Jab says, the age gap in Hollywood has become a point of contention. In the Hollywood scene, it's become so common for old men to be with younger women that Hollywood is completely tone deaf on the subject. And especially tone deaf in... Hi, Mio! Oh, man, I'm so sorry, Mio. Yeah, we are wrapping up and raiding over to Mia. But yeah, especially in Twin Peaks, it crosses the line from feeling like, oops, accidental 10 to 15 year age gap in this relationship. You know, oops, Sally Field once played Tom Hanks's sister and then or girlfriend, and then in a subsequent movie played his mother. Like, that's a true story. I'm out of time. But yeah, it's especially bad in Twin Peaks. Thank you guys so much. Join us for More Than a Mia. And until next time, I hope you have a great weekend.